I see Noreen is there.
Yeah, just give me a minute on the. There we go. Okay. You should be good to go.
Okay, it's 7 PM. We'll call the Newington Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order. Noreen, are you there?
I am.
Can we do the roll call, please?
Surely. Vice Chairman Bashand,
Here.
Commissioner Daniluk,
Here.
Commissioner Dunning,
Here.
Commissioner McCormick,
Here.
Commissioner Huel, Commissioner Lucas. You have 4 members.
Thank you, Noreen.
And
You're
Noreen,
welcome.
for the record, we do have a new member who's not present tonight at the moment. I'll email you his name tomorrow just so you can have it.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Isn't Lucas an excused absence?
Lucas will be excused. Yes, Michael Lucas is excused. Sorry, Noreen.
Okay, so the first order of business is our election of a chairman. Last meeting, we had election of our secretary. And Ms. McCormick was so generous to step up to the job and was elected. And I nominated at the time Joanne, Ms. Dunning. And, but I think we should do that again and have, right, that's what we.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Just go ahead and do it because it was Sharon that you nominated.
Yeah.
Not,
What did I say?
You said Joanne.
Oh, again, I said Joanne? Did I?
It's
Oh,
good.
gosh.
That's all right. So yeah, you should just go through the nomination process again, hold a vote. You have enough to hold a vote
Yes.
and you can move forward.
I nominate Sharon Dunning for chairman of the board, which sounds pretty important,
Thank you.
chairman of the board. So we've got a second here from
Okay.
Commissioner Donaluk. Noreen, might as well make it official and do a roll call vote.
You should just ask if Sharon accepts.
Oh,
Just
yes,
to make sure.
good point. Yeah, okay, thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Noreen, would you like to do a roll call vote, just to make it official?
Surely. Vice Chairman Bashand,
I vote yes.
Commissioner Daniluk,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunning,
I vote yes.
Commissioner McCormick.
Yes.
Okay, you're all set. You have a unanimous vote.
Congratulations,
So much.
chairman of the board, you get the
Thank you.
hammer now, too.
I don't think I'll need to. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Noreen.
So you will run the meeting now, Sharon,
Okay.
or Miss Dunning.
This is new for me, so I'm gonna
Yep.
need some guidance. And
So-
I yield to the two of you to assist me with that.
That's fine. So typically if the secretary, can you read the public hearing notice? You should read that up there.
Yeah.
If you can read it, or it's on the agenda as well. Whichever you like to read it so we can.
Public hearing, a petition 00-24-01, 311 Orchard Avenue, requesting a variance of section 4.4.1 to reduce the second front yard setback of a corner lot from 30 feet to 10 feet for the construction of a single-family home. Applicant/contact William D'Amelia, owner Frederick Keela. Is that, did I butcher it?
I don't think he's here anyway.
But I think you got it.
So, I can either give you a brief from my staff report and then have the applicant just, make his presentation, and then you can just have a general discussion, questions, however you want to. You
Okay,
going
we
forward.
We can go ahead that way.
Okay.
Sure.
I put the staff report in your packets.
Yes.
So you've all had a chance to review it.
Yep.
Let me just, up on the screen is the survey provided by the applicant. And he's basically, if you look at this plan, you can kind of see that setback box is cut in half. And you see a dash building, that's roughly what the existing setbacks would be with a double corner lot. It would be 30 feet on the front, or 35 in the front and 30 on the side. So because of the nature of how the road ended up getting constructed, is it truly a corner lot? That's the question at hand for you guys to decide. I will be available for questions after his presentation or during it for other technical questions. That helps.
Okay.
You want to come up, state your name and address for the record, sir?
Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Bill D'Amelia, 32 Coachman Lane, here in town. Been here 57 years. So as Eric was just saying, I'd like to build a house on this lot to conform with other homes in the same neighborhood, if you know the neighborhood or not, or at all. And the way the property stands now, it'd be really tough to do that. So I did take some photos of the actual street, of the curvature of the road. So as the lot stands now with the setbacks, as Eric explained, we only have about 20 feet to build on in width of the lot, of the property, because of the, it's considered a corner lot, which it is. But of the nature of the road of Meadow Street, it's on the bottom part of there, on the bottom part of the map. It doesn't appear to be a corner lot. It is. And originally the road was supposed to go straight through years ago, but it did not. And now there's a building or a structure on the bottom left of the, right above Meadow. That's an MDC pump station. I'm not even sure if it's for water or sewer. It's sewer. And so that makes the property look a little larger than it is. So we're trying to reduce the frontage of Meadow Street to be 10 feet and not touch Orchard Street, because that is like the typical frontage of the lot. So we'd have about a buildable 40-foot width of the property. And that's what, why I'm here tonight, to try and get this variance taken care of. And it's, I have to listen to different people speak. It's kind of a hardship the way it is now, because it'd be tough to build a house in 20 feet. And so I have a proposed house on the property, as you can see, and it fit in there. I think that will look pretty decent, and the house will look like it fits into the neighborhood. I did write it up. I'm sure you saw so I didn't want to repeat everything and string the thing out, but that's what I'm trying to do. If you have any questions, which I'm sure you might do, if you want, I do have pictures of, if you don't, I do have photos of the property or the streets, actually, more than anything, if you'd like to see them.
That's fine.
Oh, actually, the different ones that you saw.
Yeah.
Actually, they might be the same. I thought.
So you guys can look at these.
Madam Chairwoman, I have a question
Yeah, sure.
for the applicant. And this is more of a correction of the record, but it says that you are requesting a variance for relief as regards the 30-foot frontage, but it should read the 30-foot setback, not frontage.
That's gonna be gone.
I'm looking at Eric. I thought it was still considered frontage as a corner lot. So
It's the setback, because that is what you're trying to reduce. Yes.
Yeah, not the frontage,
Correct.
setback then. Thank you.
just for the record. I mean, the rest of your application makes it clear, but just because that was in your own words, that we should make sure that that is what you're asking for.
No, correct, right.
And then this picture kind of raises the question about the sign, and I brought it up with you. And did you say someone else raised
I
it?
did have a call. I put it in the motion. I recommend to table it because there was a question of the visibility of the public sign,
The
public hearing sign
conspicuity.
as originally posted. It honestly did not look that bad to me, but typically they are posted down the road. The applicant went ahead and moved it. So it's really up to the commission. It's not a statutory thing. It's really a local regulation, but it would, by leaving the public hearing open, it would protect the commission and the applicant if it were to be approved or denied and somebody said, well, I didn't really see the sign or I didn't know. That way it's open, could come back next month and you can make a decision. Also, you may have heard us discussing, you have 4 members here tonight. You need 4 members, 4 approved votes to get the application approved. So if one of them, so you have the option, since there's only 4 members, for them to even consider taking a vote tonight. If you're more comfortable waiting until next month when we may have 5 members, that's your choice. We're not forcing you to have them take action tonight. Again, my recommendation is just because of the question of the posting, because it was somebody from the neighborhood that called.
And I pointed it out too.
And you did go by to look at it and you asked a question as well.
Or make a statement. I agree with you 100%, Eric. It's just in the interest of the public too. So just like you said, why take the chance? And I'm glad that you had moved it or you moved it a little closer.
But I would just, any questions you guys have, vet them out tonight. If there's
Yeah.
something
Oh,
that
yeah.
can't be answered, he'll be able to bring it back
Absolutely.
next month. But again, the choice is yours.
I can start if,
Oh, I did have one
Go ahead.
question. The hydrant doesn't pose any issue with the building a structure there in terms of how many square feet away from?
No, nope, because it's not on his property and it'll be accessible.
Okay, and from the pictures, I was just curious, which way would the house structure be facing? I'm
The,
just trying
the
to.
front of
It
the
would
house,
face Orchard Avenue as up here. So to the right where you see Orchard Avenue, that's the front of the house.
So Orchard Avenue would be the front, and
This
then the
is
back
Orchard.
would be toward,
The back is just extra property. There's actually a
Okay.
wetland back there.
okay, there is a wetland.
yeah,
back
this
there.
is Orchard and that's Meadow.
Okay,
So
I
this would
see
be the
now.
front.
Okay, I see now.
the garage would be on the right.
So the
Driveway would
front
be-
here, and then this would be. Say that again?
The driveway would be on the right side. That's that
The
area that
driveway would
jets
be
out.
on the right, over here where the shed is?
Though the shed will be removed.
Right,
The shed will be removed.
Yeah.
So
And-
No, I was looking at the plot plan.
let me
That's what I was
bring
trying to
something
point out.
up that might help a little bit.
I have a question.
Sure.
Joanne, McCormick. What about all those trees? Are you gonna cut them down?
Not all of them, definitely not. Just the ones where the house would be. Where the house,
All the
would-
trees would stay?
most of them would stay.
Okay.
The ones on the left will definitely stay. There's some that are definitely have to go that where the house has to be and you don't want a tree to fall on a house.
Okay.
But there's some trees off to the left.
So if I may, if we look up here, you see where this number 311 is. This is the lot we're talking about. There's the wetland behind his property. So if this does get approved, he still has to go to wetlands as well. So like all these other houses, they just front Orchard Avenue. Same with his. He would front Orchard Avenue. His driveway would be out on Orchard Avenue. If that helps, any kind of clarification.
and are you planning a 1-story, 2-story?
Two-story home.
2-story. And I also just wanted to have the two of you, if you had a question.
Mr. Donald cut his hand up.
Yeah,
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, early in your presentation, you talked about Meadow Street. What effect did any changes have on Meadow Street have on that property?
Just the appearance, not a change, but more, it doesn't appear to be your typical corner, 90-degree square lot, square corner.
When Meadow Street was originally constructed, did it go all the way through?
It was, I don't know, but it wasn't built.
Okay,
It wasn't built that way.
If I may, Commission, so up here is the original subdivision from 1926. This is the lot we're talking about down here in the lower left corner, okay?
Can you zoom in at all there?
I can. This is the lot we're talking about today. This is Meadow Street, and as you see, it went through.
okay,
All right. Now, at some point during development from 1926 to whenever, from what I can tell, about 1973, when they built Spur Lane and everything just to the west of there and to the south, it looks like at that time they Meadow Street wasn't built and they relocated and kind of dipped it down.
Mhm.
You know, like
Like we see on his plan here.
Yeah, like we see here. See, because you can even see that Meadow Street isn't constructed between Field and Orchard.
Okay.
So originally they ran it up to here and they ran it up Field. And then they built Orchard down and they really didn't need the access, I assume. And then when this subdivision went down, Bridle Pass Berlin area, they just swooped it around. So this is still actually unconstructed right away. That's just hanging out there anyway, that other piece.
One question, Eric, did I hear you say wetland?
Yes, there's wetlands to the rear of the property.
That doesn't affect,
As I said, he would have to go to the Conservation Commission if he gets approval to build a house there. He has to get
Doesn't have
approval
anything.
through.
We don't consider any of that.
Right.
That'll
There
be
is
me
a-
and Joanne.
Oh, you're cool on that.
Yeah, I'm on copy.
Yeah.
And
That's why I
it
asked.
appears there's a house there that is, behind the wetlands too.
And where are you
No.
looking?
The next lot, 299, is that 299?
Yes. So if,
You're talking about an orchard?
Yeah, I'm just
Next
saying that the
door.
wetlands are in the rear
Yeah.
and that, lot, above, the lot we're talking about is, next to the wetlands.
yeah, the house
They all
is,
abut they all abut.
yeah, this house looks like it's very close.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
point of the.
His house, part of it,
Proximity.
depending on how it ends up getting placed, he's probably, more than likely, he will have to go to wetlands.
Like to
John.
ask, make a few comments or statements. So, I mean, obviously, this is a huge ask. We're asking to reduce a front yard down to what's equivalent of a side yard. And I do agree that the extra greenage or green space in front, I mean, the right of way provides some extra buffer. So
Mhm.
it's not unreasonable to request it, but up at the corner, it still is basically a corner. It's pretty close to a corner. So, I'm just throwing it out there. Did you ever consider facing the house, south? It'd be a nice south exposure, have the front of the house face, Meadow Street. Then you could reduce the Orchard Street side to, 5 feet less.
That's what I was thinking.
If-
House towards Meadow Street?
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there if you ever
No,
considered it.
I didn't because you still have the same situation. You still have the same depth. You have the 20 feet.
Yeah, I understand that. You'd have actually more. You'd have 35 feet on that side, so it would reduce it even more. So you'd have to request, you still have to make a
And the
request.
other issue is the MDC does have some kind of right because their infrastructure's there, so I don't believe that he can do a
Well,
curb cut through there.
That was my next question. Do they even have an unencumbered 80-foot frontage there?
Hmm.
It looks like they do, but I don't know how much MDC is claiming there.
I believe, yeah, it's an old abandoned, I don't want to say abandoned right away. It's nebulous. I don't know the answer, but the town allowed MDC to put infrastructure there. Probably
That can't
8 years
encumber
ago.
the frontage. That can't
Correct.
eliminate
I-
that from
I
being a
believe-
lot.
Yes.
Even though the lot is, would we say 25% less than the zone requires and
Well, the lot,
25% less of the frontage required?
right, the lot is a lot of record.
Yeah,
Because it predates zoning.
non-conforming.
Yep.
Yeah, I understand.
So you can't,
I think it's just it's a huge ask and, there's some mitigating factors and I agree with you that, first of all, that it would make it difficult to build the house there. I don't know if that's enough of a hardship alone. But I don't want to make a decision myself tonight. I prefer not to. So I'd like to think about it a little bit more. I don't know how everyone else feels here.
Did you want us to weigh in?
well, in my mind, I have some questions and
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
What you just brought up is it a plausible suggestion in terms of how you position the house on the lot. I don't know if that's something that you would want to do.
Well, I'm just trying to follow you're saying to face the house towards Meadow Street.
Yeah, then you'd have
Or Meadow
plenty
Lane.
plenty of width to deal with. You would still have that depth problem. And actually you'd have a little bit less. You would have to still, most likely you'd still want to request
Right.
a variance on part of that. It was just an idea. But you wouldn't have a problem with the width of the house because you have plenty of.
But then the
plenty of work.
backyard would be like, it would look not correct because you'd only have 10 feet if you had to leave it the way it is, then you'd have a very, from me to you, to the offense that's.
That is correct, because he would have two side yards for the other two, so it would be 10 feet.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
You're
so
talking about
then
the backyard.
in the position the house this way, it'll look conform better to the neighborhood,
I
you know?
agree with that.
Because what I was trying to say to, Senator, on the plot plan
Mhm.
that you have, the right side of the structure that jets out somewhat, that would be the garage. So the driveway would be on the right-hand side, so it would come out onto, Orchard Ave.
Right.
That's where the,
That's all garage, that full width of that?
about
24 feet?
22, about 22 feet.
It's 24 here, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, the way your plan is, it would
24,
conform more
right.
to the neighborhood.
I'm sorry?
I agree with
said-
that, yeah.
The way you have it planned, it would conform more with the neighborhood,
Right.
for sure.
Well, that's what I was trying to put it this way, and then position his house this way, you'd have a decent backyard of the way I have it,
Right.
plotted on the property. You have a nice, a typical backyard like that house to the right of it. And for grades and such, it would be better to have the garage on the right, the way I have it positioned this way than on the left also. On the left, it would make it where the house elevation would be level, set. It'd be better to have the garage because the road is going, Orchard is higher to on the right-hand side. That's the other reason to have the driveway on the right-hand side.
So the garage is taking up the lion's share of the width of the front of the house.
Yeah, pretty, right.
Mhm. Did
Attached,
you consider, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, if you ever consider putting the garage on the Meadow Street side, but I just think that we're reducing the zone, we're eliminating it completely.
Right.
We're making believe that there's no corner lot requirement whatsoever there by reducing it to a side yard. So, I think it's, like I said, it's a huge ask. It's a big ask. And, can you work with anything less than that if we cut it in half, let's say?
Cutting half would make it,
What, 15 feet? Because you're trying to reduce it down to 1/3 of what the requirement is.
is it possible? Anything's possible, but I prefer
I
to do
realize
this.
it's
I
a
know, you
small
know,
lot,
just
you're-
like, yeah.
Now, you realize
know.
it's a small lot you're dealing with, but I don't think that's the hardship by itself, that it's a small lot.
I mean,
It's my own personal opinion, so it might be better that you wait until next week for the vote too, you know, because as it is, I'm not comfortable with that, with the request, so.
I think I'd prefer to stay the way it is. You know, I mean, a 15, you know, to split the difference, to make it a 30-foot.
No, it'd be 15.
Well, no, correct, right, no, right. But I mean, right now I have 40 feet of buildable area in width, the way I proposed.
I see what you're saying.
And then I'd have 30 feet. That's what I meant,
Mhm.
like what you just said.
Hmm.
Right. We're going at it two different ways. No wonder why they don't, because I do the drawings. You couldn't get a 2-car garage in this thing, so they have to be down to a 1-car garage. That's why I said it'd be nice to have a 2-car garage. It just wouldn't work in 35 feet
Madam Chairman,
or 30 feet, excuse
may I
me.
ask Eric a question?
You can, go ahead.
Eric, did we hear anything from the public? Any fors or against?
I've heard nothing from the public.
A good sign.
Let me just hold on. There will be public participation later.
I don't mean that, but I mean from, in response to.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there could be somebody online, so. Who knows? I can state with a very high degree of confidence that I don't suspect that Meadow Street will ever get reoriented and put back and make it a true corner lot. You have MDC infrastructure there, so they're not gonna
Yeah, they
decide to
can't.
just kick Meadow Street back,
No, I agree.
you know.
It's already built. So
I can,
that's in the favor of the applicant for sure.
I
And that
mean,
extra space there.
and if the commission chooses to table this application, I can look into and see what the viability is of potentially him being allowed to put a driveway out to Meadow. If,
Why would he not? Oh, because of the
because,
MDC?
yeah, the MDC may have because of their infrastructure. I don't know how their easement reads or any of that stuff. So I suspect it may not be allowable. And it would also, that would further reduce the buffering because of the majority of the trees, I believe, are on the, off of his property and kind of along the end.
That's true. More trees have to be taken down. To
Correct.
do the driveway off the left and it'd be very steep driveway also.
Yes, there's some.
That way, because where the grades are on this property.
I believe.
I think something to consider is your first sentence in the documents we got from the town, and I'll read it. This lot of record was created prior to the adoption of the Newington zoning regulations on August the 26th, 1930. The lot is within the zoning regulations to build a house. And we're talking about going back to 1930 when the lot was created. So it's been sitting there obviously for umpteen years, waiting for somebody to come along like yourself.
Correct.
And, but I think that should be considered also, that first sentence.
Joanne, did you have any comments?
No, I'm just agreeing with everybody. Thank you.
And again, if I may, it is a lot of record.
I want to look at it some more.
It is currently the applicant or anyone could build a house on it.
That's right.
Just with those reduced setbacks.
They don't need our permission.
Obviously, right. It's what they call a shotgun house. It's 20 feet wide and how many ever feet deep. And so.
I just had one question.
Go ahead, John.
Eric, so that garage that's there, it indicates that was just like an accessory lot for the property next door? Is that what it was? Or did someone just,
It appears that was the case. Yes, it appears the Tequila family did construct that. I don't believe it was done with permits.
and then they subdivided? I mean, it was already divided,
It
but
was divided, correct.
But it
They
was
just
one
built it on
owner.
another lot.
at one time. Because I always thought the first rule was you can't subdivide and leave something non-conforming.
I don't know when it was done. I can't go after it for zoning if it hasn't been. And again,
No, I mean, it made sense
Yeah.
if it was owned by the same owner of
yeah,
the house
and it
next
was,
door.
it's been owned by that family and
Yeah.
they've done some stuff over time there.
Well, I'm sure the neighbors will be glad to see the barn go.
Yeah, maybe they will. I don't know.
But I may just
Any-
add my final comments. I mean, there's a lot going for the applicant, that especially that larger green space, and I agree with Eric, it's never gonna be, the road's not gonna be moved closer to the house, that can't be possible. I'd be curious what MDC owns there, and you said we don't, because on the plot, maps, it doesn't show that they own that at all, it's just like you
Right.
said,
It
an
may,
easement. It's an
yeah,
easement.
it may just be an easement.
Because
or
the
something.
pump station right down the road, they own that little plot of land that's on. So this one they don't own, as far as we know.
Yeah, so I don't know what the agreement with the town was when that was approved by planning and zoning.
If I can weigh in, I think I would like to hear about that if you're able to research that and get back to us.
I can see and
Unless people feel that they have enough information
No, I think that's
to make a
important.
decision.
I agree.
I think the board or the commission is thinking that it might make sense to get more information and for us to ponder this petition a little bit more.
that's fine. Is there anybody online that would like to speak in favor or against this application? I do see a couple people online. If you are, you can raise your hand and be heard. No one has raised their hand at the moment, Ms. Chairman,
Okay. Um,
and there's no one else in the room. So what you can do is I have a motion prepared. That if the secretary would like to read it to table it, if that's what you as a commission would like to do. And by leaving the public hearing open, the public, if anybody else comes forward or wants to come forward and speak at next month's meeting, you know, that would be available to do, they would be available to do that because it's open. So I think it's best to leave it open.
Yes.
And then you can move forward at the next meeting, however you choose. If you guys have any questions for the applicant that you want answered before next meeting, I suggest you go ahead and ask him, just so, you know, if there's something that he can look into.
I had one suggestion,
Go ahead,
and,
George.
and I think it would benefit the applicant. On the plan here, it shows a measurement from edge of road to the corner of the house as proposed at 31 feet. But he should provide a couple more of those straight off of the house. And especially at that west side, because that looks like it's like twice as much more. And that may, you know, that's obviously in his favor, like I keep pointing out. So,
Right.
maybe a good idea to have that measurement, you know, provided too.
The dimension towards Orchard Ave.
Yeah, from the south, west corner of the house to the edge of the road, parallel or perpendicular or whatever to the,
Well,
to that edge.
the front setback off of Orchard is 35 feet, is more than 35 feet.
No, I'm talking about the green space that's in between, this extra
Okay.
buffer of green space that he has.
Okay,
And then you could even compare it. Look at on Orchard Ave, it's only 10 feet or something, or 15 feet, you know? And over there you might have, you know, 50 feet. And you could say, look, it's 5 times more than what it is on the other street here, which is in your favor.
Right. Thank you.
Mr. Donald.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Mr. Donald?
On the plan, there are notations on the corners, 5/8 rebar found. What significance is that to this plan?
I can speak to that, Mr. Donald. That's a property corner that was found in the field by a surveyor.
Okay,
All
Okay.
property corners supposed to have either an iron pin, iron pipe, something like that. In this, look, they have, he actually found all the corners.
and that's standard with any lot?
Yeah, they should be there. Sometimes they're not, and sometimes you'll see it where it says 5/8 rebar set. That means they couldn't find the corner, so they had to go out and set a new one.
Okay,
Sometimes during construction, landscaping projects, fencing projects especially, they get ripped out. They shouldn't be. It's actually a fine through state statute removing a property corner, but be that as it may.
thank you.
And Eric, but,
Go ahead.
and if we have our other 3 members here, you don't have to worry about one person who may not be in favor of this. You have,
Right.
well, actually, we'd only have how many voting though?
You have 5 voting, you need
5.
four.
Yeah.
So
So even though there'd be 2 alternates, they're not voting anyway, but anyway, you'd have 1 buffer there at least, you know,
Right.
so. And my suggestion that you provide that measurement is not an order, that's just a suggestion if you choose to do it.
That's very simple. Thank you.
So, I mean, do we end the discussion and make a motion? at this
So-
point?
second. So if that's what you choose to do, you can just make a motion to, like I said, the secretary should read it and then you guys can vote on it.
Motion to table, motion to leave the public hearing open and table this item until the May 2nd, 2024 meeting due to questions about the posting of the public hearing sign.
So you would need a second and then a vote.
Oh,
Anyone want to?
Second.
Second?
second. Oh, agree.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No opposed.
So the public hearing will be open. We'll do this again next month. You get you'll get the notice. Do leave the public hearing sign out posted. Leave it. Yep.
Okay, sorry about the sign. It was visible. That's what the instructions say, so I did move it.
I looked at it
After-
twice. The first time I thought it was a concern. The second time, I didn't think it was that bad. I agree with Eric, but that real estate sign out in front kind of distracts from it too. you know?
It does, because I was trying to think where to place it. I put a lot of thought into it. I didn't want to,
Technically, you're probably not supposed to put it in the right of way, of course, but all the realtors put them in the right of way, so you did the right thing, I guess, by putting it on your own property.
Yeah.
Although the line's a little closer than that to the road, though, right?
Either way, it's more visible. It's gonna be up for another 30 days. And we'll,
I was trying not to put it too close, then you're not, it goes right by if it's late.
Mm.
So.
Well, the good thing in your favor, there's no one from the public saying any, or, complaining or writing in or things.
can I keep these and I'll for the file just?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm all set.
You're set.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening.
I'll see you next month.
Have a good evening. Okay. Okay, so,
I do have one other question. Can I ask one other question?
You kind of tabled it.
Before he leaves?
Go ahead. Since
Where
the
do you
public,
live now?
I live on Coachman Lane up in Candlewick.
Okay.
Been there in that neighborhood for 57 years in Candlewick.
What made you want to move?
I'm not. I'm trying to build it maybe for someone else.
Okay.
So this is what I do. I've done this for a number of years, a lot of years. I've been building homes. So it seemed like a nice neighborhood and I want to build a house there. And I know how this house should look on this lot. So
I do have one more suggestion myself, and it's not going to interfere with the record or anything, but if you do find out something from MDC, I think you should share it with the applicant as soon as,
absolutely.
as soon as you get it. You don't wait till the next meeting,
Of
then
course.
it's going to be a surprise.
The gentleman sitting back there, are you the proposed new owner?
no, it's my son.
Pardon?
He's my son.
Oh,
He's
okay.
just my supporter.
Okay. Thank you.
One of my sons.
thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No public participation. We're just moving on to the minutes.
Yeah.
Anybody get a chance to read the minutes that were in the packet?
I skimmed over them.
Any questions about the minutes or edits?
No.
No, I had none.
Nothing? Okay, can I get a motion to accept the minutes?
Second.
Well, I need
Are
a,
you making the motion?
Well, yes.
And can I get a second? To accept
Second.
the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes are passed. And then, let's see.
communications and
Communications
reports.
and reports.
I have, had a couple of inquiries in the wind about potential future applications. We'll see if they come to fruition. Otherwise, nothing really going on. Any questions you guys have of me, just since you're newer and stuff, if there's anything.
Just what we have tonight, that easement.
Okay.
Looking into that for next month. Okay, we'll move on to new business,
And you really took care of that.
which is all set.
Mhm.
So old business, looks like there's none.
Correct.
And finally, can I get a motion from the floor for adjournment?
I'll make the motion. So adjourn.
Okay, John, can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we
Aye.
adjourn. Awesome.
All right.